Hi, it's Emily again. I am going to read some more from Farm to Fork, Meet Riot by Niti, Bali. And this is chapter 12, Clarity Through Contrast. And it's super hot here in southeast Missouri today. It's like 90 degrees, but in southeast Missouri it's like feels like super duper hot. So I decided I would take a seat in the shade. All right, here we go. I needed to get back to serving the community in the way I had begun to with Meenakshi. The information I learned when researching in the years after Meenakshi's death brought more and more clarity and evidence of how this regenerative lifestyle should be practiced. The more people I worked with, the more I learned about the power of the food. I learned about the power of sleep, meditation, balancing day-to-day schedules, resetting circadian rhythms, grounding the body to the earth, and yes, diet was also a part of that. This lifestyle required whoever wanted to gain benefits from it to change their mind about so many aspects of current day culture. Every week, I would spend half of the week speaking with potential CSA members, and the other half of the week, I would spend on logistics to get orders to the members. In between, I was on farms working with them to develop the best practices we could think of to raise the healthiest animals to nourish our bodies. I believed CSA orders, I delivered CSA orders to parking lots across a 60-mile stretch here in North Carolina. I began coaching people for free on how to use farm fresh foods medicinally. This was exhausting. I was on the phone for hours and on the road for hours. It was emotionally and physically draining, dragging the children everywhere with me and sharing our story about Meenakshi all the time. My mother says I brainwashed my children into believing that only farm food was safe. However, they weren't brainwashed. They were behind me, beside me, or in my lap while we listened to as people shared their stories of suffering with us. Then I shared our story with them and helped them reset their diet and lifestyle. My children and I have spoken one-on-one with thousands of families over the past 10 years, and they have watched everyone who decided to make this lifestyle change regain their life force. Our children also watch many people in the community who are not involved with our CSA needlessly suffer with health issues. They are also exposed to people who call me wanting help. They are unwilling to make, but are unwilling to make changes. The kids have witnessed a full spectrum of evidence based on diet and lifestyle. The regenerative lifestyle I promote is based on releasing self-sabotaging behaviors and living with more intention towards healing and becoming active again. Support food produced regeneratively with life force, preferably by someone you can have a relationship with. Support food produced regeneratively with life force, preferably by someone you can have a relationship with. Source or make personal care products with highest quality chemical-free ingredients. Purchase household items like kitchen tools, furniture, linens, and clothes as much as we can that have been produced with materials that align with the integrity of nature. We are also practicing a higher consciousness with our spirit within the balance of nature and God force. Some people understand the lifestyle change required when we share our story, but compliance is not easy for all of them. Many people believe that they can change their life on an 80-20 scale, but they eventually figure out that you cannot effectively gain life-giving force while you are still poisoning yourself. Healing yourself holistically requires compliance, and it requires a person to wean themselves off of the inclusion in the self-sabotaging practices abundant in today's society. This may mean you become an outlier, or at least reinvent your entire inner circle. My friends, changing your life requires deliberate intention. I know from our own experience, it is hard to do with your household if your household is not on board. I am now a regenerative lifestyle coach, helping people find the inner strength required to change. Due to my work in developing farmers as well as consumers, I have not formally coached anyone for 10 years for a fee. Instead, all of my coaching was and is through a CSA membership with people who subscribe to our food church. I am regularly asked to share details of how I gained my nutrition education or my knowledge about farming. The answer is simple. I leaned on the law of nature. I believe that nature has this all figured out. I worked with many producers and observed their various practices. I had a perspective none of them had on their own business I was observing, so many of them simultaneously. I was objective and pointed them towards each other. I created a collaborative forum. Sometimes they created their own forums with other farmers and came back to me with what they learned, and we applied it on several farms to see if it was repeatable and regenerative on all the farms. I did not take this on as a health hacker or someone trying to regain health by trying fad diets or supplements galore. My husband and I did not suffer from bad eating habits or psychological food addictions. We cooked from scratch, so taking control of our ingredients was a little inconvenient to do 100% of the time, but we were capable of doing it. Most of our education came from the farmers we received our food from. We had endless conversations about the health of the soil, the animals on the soil, and then how that food made us feel. We observed and paid careful attention to what Meenakshi wanted to eat, what made her feel good, and what gave her energy after each meal. We were motivated to gain her health back fast. I observed how quickly her life-giving force was regained on the foods we received from the farms. Mostly meat, limited veggies, and occasional fruit gave Meenakshi the most bioavailable nutrition at the fastest rate possible. The grass-based meat powered her. Meena needlessly suffered and died at the tender age of 4, but not before we cured her cancer with regenerative food. She died because the cancer had already damaged her vital structures even before we knew of her diagnosis. Sorry, I had an ant on me. Her diagnosis. The chemotherapy didn't help matters, and the extra toxic load caused other chemical side effects we could not be overcome fast enough. She died because we listened to the institutions and let other people be responsible for the life we brought into this world. The things I know are learned by walking through the fire. I did not keep a journal or maintain a medical or scientific chart of my finding. The things I know to be true are anecdotal at best. Interestingly, I have had thousands of subscribers who have benefited by following my advice, some of whom have contributed their stories to this book. In this book, I have coached my membership on how to think about food every single week. Some of them listen and ask questions. Others simply come to get their food and keep rolling. Either way, they are the brave humans rising with me to create food freedom and health independence. The people who have ever arrived in my food church are some of the most intelligent, critical thinkers in our community. These people are also very brave to step outside of society's expectations about how to nourish our bodies. Eating food is a very personal and sacred act. All of them have listened to me on some level for 10 years, and they trust me to provide them with the latest news and politics on our food landscape, latest nutrition protocols, as well as providing the most nutrient-dense offerings available in our region. I have CSA members who travel from out of state monthly to pick up their food, to pick up their score. It is a priority for people. Others have asked me to ship food, and this is something we have taken into consideration for one of our future projects. Either way, I have seen miracles happen with the folks in the membership over the past 10 years. Our food and lifestyle have reversed or lessened the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, various gut disease, leaky gut syndrome, vitiligo, Crohn's disease, IBS, celiac disease, etc., obesity, and overall healthy weight management. We have reversed blood pressure issues, diabetes, heart disease, gout, fertility problems, erectile dysfunction, menopause syndrome side effects, menstrual side effects, kidney, gallbladder, liver, urinary tract issues. The CSA members who take advantage of my coaching experience, more energy, vibrance, greater sex drive, more muscle strength, and bone density. They sleep better and have more mental clarity and psychological balance. Most people following this lifestyle are rarely, if ever, ill and never have the need for pharmaceuticals. And if they are more carnivorous, they do not even require any nutraceuticals or supplements. Their weight is managed naturally, as nature intended, just like animals are healthy in the wild. Hormonal imbalances lessen and disappear. Skin clears up. Inflammation vanishes completely. The story is the same over and over. Medical disclaimer. I am a mere mortal. I cannot save your life. Do not be confused. I am not making claims. Do not make medical decisions based on anything I say and then blame me. I have not participated in any licensing or certifications, and I have not been recognized by anybody in regards to what I am talking about in this book or in any of my other media outlets. I am not sharing any of this to tell you to subscribe to me, my thoughts, my coaching, my CSA, or any work I am involved in. I am simply sharing what I know to be true. It is my intention to share what I know in an effort for you to have more information and power to make a more intelligent choice for yourself and for your family based on our stories. It reminds me of the Maya Angelou quote, when we know better, we do better. If you want to talk nutrition, then I can talk nutrition, although it might not be in the way you currently hear people speaking about nutrition. Institutions have taught us that you can address a deficiency by testing. The test might show you that you need iron, or it may let you know testosterone levels are low and estrogen levels are extremely high. In this case, they will supplement you with more iron and testosterone. I would not approach it in this way. When you operate under the law of nature, you need to look at an issue from a holistic view. I will ask for a food log and a sleep log. I would want to know what all the inputs are, everything you put in your mouth, not just food, and how they are affecting your rest cycles. My approach may require you to remove things from your diet that are causing the deficiency rather than adding the missing elements in to your diet. We cannot know any of these things until we investigate further based on your habits. In the end, you will be healed and not be taking a permanent supplement. If you want a Band-Aid, supplementing is okay, but I want a solution. I want complete healing. Nutrition begins with nutrient-dense inputs, not just food or drink, but skin products, aromas, bathing water, quality environmental exposures, and lifestyle behaviors. You cannot gain health by consuming poison or blank foods or by exposing yourself to skin products or environmental conditions thoughtlessly. The meat in a grocery store that comes from an industrialized institutional food program are blank and worse. They are poisonous. There is no difference in the institutional industrialized version of plant matter, especially for vegetarians who are only consuming plants and grains. The industrialized version of plant matter, even organic, is being washed with chlorine. When you find it in a centralized market to meet health codes of dead food because institutions believe that you require protection from germs. If the food meets health code, it is dead and blank food. I will not coach anyone who refuses to stop eating wheat. Back in the day, who would believe that someday it would be acceptable to tell someone you will not work with them if they smoke? Yet today, people can say that, and it is widely accepted because we all know the dangers of smoking. Friends, wheat is poisoned and is not to be consumed. When wheat is being dried, they are not using the power of the sun. It is chemically dried using glyphosate in one form or another. Glyphosate compromises the blood-brain barrier and allows heavy metals to reach the brain. Heavy metals cause serious brain injury that results in everything from dementia, Alzheimer's, autism spectrum disorder, ADD, ADHD, seizures, and a plethora of other health issues. Hybridized wheat is now so nutritionally deficient. It has a higher glycemic index than sugar. But I believe that it is the least of our problems. Wheat is not something you can enjoy on a cheat day. There is no cheating with food. There is only poisoning yourselves with poisonous food or nourishing your body with real food produced with integrity. Pasture-based meats are regenerating and healing land by producing soil and capturing carbon from the atmosphere. This meat then offers you life-giving force by way of complex and complete amino acid protein profiles and complete fatty acid profiles. It offers massive vitamins and minerals that are bioavailable to you in ways you can never access directly by consuming more plants yourself. Your digestive system, your plumbing, is simply not long enough to convert plants into fat. You can only convert plants into sugar. Let me just say that again. Your digestive system, your plumbing, is simply not long enough to convert plants into fat. So you can't tell me that you have fat in plants. You can only convert plants into sugar. Wow. Regenerative meat is far more nutritious and bioavailable than plants are for you. Plants are the backup fuel we forage for when we are unable to find regenerative meat, like nomads after a bad day of hunting. Plants are used for flavoring. They are not the key for gaining actual health. If you were living off the land without grocery stores, you would be seeking the most efficient nourishment. It would not be plant matter because you would have to eat so much of it to satisfy your hunger, and it wouldn't satiate you as long as the meat would. Civilization has warped our ability to identify nourishment. I approach health and nutrition from a free-thinking, universal law perspective and not an institutionalized, programmed thinking perspective. I believe that how you feel when you eat, how you feel after a meal, the emotions that your food causes you to have, all these feelings and emotions play a huge role in how that nutrition serves your body. There is no such thing as healthy food versus junk food, in my perspective. There is only real food or poison. I believe industrialized food like substances are poison. It is very simple for me. I do not operate like the institutionalized nutrition professionals who are taught about nutrition by the same people who profit from the sale of that nutritional matter, food-like substances, supplements, etc. I am not profiteering by the sale of anything I advise you to consume to gain health. There is a difference. That was Farm to Fork, Meet Riot by Niti, Bali, and that was chapter 12, Clarity Through Contrast. Thanks for watching.